TFcon, that Transformers convention in Canada and the US. I've talked about it before, that place where you can not only find toys, but spicy Transformers art. Let me just say now that this video is intended for adults 18+, just for the sake of some inappropriate language and references to Hot Motor Oil by Alex Milne. This video is long overdue, but hi, I'm back from TFcon and I have some fun, chaotic stories. Once again, I had a great time, but this year I was a vendor in the artist alley promoting my Transformers Prime story game, Transformersmercy. The hilarious chaos began before I even got there, and then I became a participant in it. I too sold gay robot art, but also robots so hot that people don't know what gender that robot is. But hey, let's go back to the glorious beginning. My spouse and I were flying to Toronto a day before TFcon begins. Back to my Canadian homeland. We did not want to miss Friday night's event. TFcon really gets going on the weekend when the dealer room opens and hundreds flood the room looking for rare figures, and there are events in the panel room with special guests. But some things happened in the panel room on Friday, and I knew a 2-hour fan film was going to be played. And I've seen the trailers beforehand on the channel The Name Brand Company. It looked high quality. Now, I am a story-first person, so I would have still given it a chance even if the appearance was meh. But the six-eyed Unicron really stole my attention. I really didn't want to miss this. Now, I had just gotten to know the Name Brand Company, and we met in person after realizing we live very close to each other. We then found out we had booked the same flight to Toronto. Now, we sit down and start talking about TFcon and the guests coming. Alex Milne is brought up. He's a very well-known comic artist in the Transformers fandom because he did art for More Than Meets the Eye, an extremely popular comic series. This is that rogue artist who draws basically hentai of the characters and sells it at the con and makes absolute bank off it. He packs that art into volumes called Hot Motor Oil, and he's on volume 4 now. The Name Brand Company is excited to talk to me, so his voice is a bit too loud for a crowded airport gate. I bring up Hot Motor Oil, and he yells, "Isn't that like Transformers smut?" in that full seating area. The person sitting directly behind him jerks forward and starts muffling their laughter as I tell him, "Bro, why did you say that so loudly?" So the adventure is off to a great start. I just want to put out a disclaimer now that I'm asexual and never make any sexual Transformers art. And I'll get to the cute and fun because this won't all be about Hot Motor Oil. Okay, if you want that, I could also do a video terribly describing every page of Hot Motor Oil, and you'll have to try picturing what I'm seeing. Friday morning, I did some treetop trekking because I cannot sit still too long unless I've had some exercise. At the hotel, because TFcon takes place within a hotel, my spouse and I checked into the artist alley, and who was the one checking us in? The lovely Ultra Primal. We offered her free Mercy stickers because she gave us free merch of hers in the past. And then we bounced along to the premiere of the Name Brand Company's fan film. I was so excited to see it. It is actually the third film of a series, so we had pre-watched the other shorter films beforehand. But you could catch up even if you missed those. The room was packed, and Name Brand was with some of the team members of the film, some voice actors. They were very excited and introduced themselves very briefly before playing the movie. With the epic music and the speakers around us, it felt like a real movie theater experience. Everyone was captivated. Halfway through, there was an error that paused the movie and the whole room went, "Aww," and then yay when it came back on. It had to be the best Transformers fan film I have yet seen. When it finished, the full room of like 100 people or more erupted into applause. It was a big, beautiful, emotional moment for Name Brand, and I felt really proud of him. That's going to be a core memory for him now. You know, before our flight, he was telling me how much he had wanted to make one movie in his life, for himself, regardless of views. When someone makes something so that the story is loved, and not so that they themselves are loved, then you know it's going to be good. And this movie just got posted on YouTube this week, so I'm going to link it for you to watch. TFI Creations was also one of the writers, so you may have heard of him from his fan films too. Next was the Make-A-Wish charity auction, which is always fun. The best part is when people stubbornly compete for something and the price keeps rising. A Linkin Park Soundwave sold for $500. I almost got some signed TFP voice actor autographs, but I would chicken out if it hit $50. I was more hoping I could go for something others wouldn't really fight over, like the signature of Dead End's voice actor from Cyberverse. Now, after some sleep, my partner and I had to get to the artist alley early to finish our setup. Now, I admit at first, I was really worried about the location. I remember in the past, the artists were right around the corner from the official guests like Alex Milne. They were beside the dealer room, so all that traffic could potentially pass by you. Now, the fan artists were separate from the special guests in the dealer room in a whole other area of the hotel. Granted down the hall, but still out of the way. I felt really concerned because I overheard an artist complaining to staff how last year, this setup had lost some traffic and they wanted more signs. I was almost panicked. To even claim a table in the artist alley cost $200, so you would have to make that back, right? And all the Mercy merch cost us a lot to make. Were we about to be screwed over, I wondered? To promote more traffic to the artist alley, I made a sign promoting Autobot and Decepticon hand stamps within the alley. My partner hand-carved stamps for Autobots, Decepticons, Predacons, and Viacons, and we bought all kinds of ink colors, offering the stamps for just 25 cents. You could even leave your change in the faction of your choice for fun, Autobots, Decepticons, or Steves. The Predacons didn't get a charity. Can you guess who won the vote every day? Yes, it was the Steves every day, and the Autobots were always in last place. But despite that, we had actually misplaced the Viacon stamp. Rest in peace, Viacon stamp. But the Viacons appreciate the donation of Icelandic currency. The stamps were a hit and a lot of fun, honestly. We had big stamps and mini stamps for kids. The cutest thing ever was a little babe in the dad's arms who got a green Predacon stamp. We pulled out the tiniest one for that. The dad was like, "Do you want the dragon?" Thinking of Predaking as a cute, lovable dragon was just so wholesome. And I really wanted the stamps to be good for everybody. The day before the con, we bought white ink because I realized the rainbow colors won't show up well on dark skin tones. So we added the white ink to the pile and just offered all the colors to everybody. Someone did ask for a color like orange, which didn't show up well, but then we switched to white ink and it popped out so clear. This person, and who I think is his brother, smiled so big that I just felt so happy we provided everything for everyone. I wanted everyone to have a good time with my table, and I even thought I should brush up on my American Sign Language before the con. And just in case, I think everyone should study ASL to break barriers. Well, one of the first guests to the table was a signer, and I just wanted to use what little I knew to make a connection. But something really cool happened where someone in Transformers Prime Soundwave cosplay came up and broke into an ASL conversation with the guest. Soundwave expressed that they were hearing, but studying ASL. Soundwave refused to speak and either used ASL or typed messages. That's how I understood in the end that, plot twist, this rad, signing Soundwave was one of my artists for Mercy. Zengris. Now, I was mad impressed because I knew Zengris already spoke an indigenous language of Canada, so ASL on top of that. Epic! I'm such a language nerd. I was super excited at the end of Saturday to explore the other tables of the artist alley and find someone's name in Mohawk. I was like, "Is this Mohawk?" And he said yes. I said its native name, Ganyalkeha. Ganyalkeha is quite a hard language to learn because there are limited resources for learning it, and it's a polysynthetic language, which it means little parts have meanings and merge to create words. Basically, many names and words in Ganyalkeha would translate to full sentences in English. Now, the name, I was told, translated to a sense of being covered in ice. This Transformers artist revealed that he was a consultant for translating Mohawk in Assassin's Creed, and that the protagonist's name was the name of his son standing right there. What? That's awesome! My Ganyalkeha level is very beginner, but I had been taking free online courses. I just bought some books, like 1,000 Words in Mohawk. It may not look it, but my father is Mohawk, and I have indigenous status in Canada. He doesn't speak the language because it was lost in my family line, but I'm trying to get into it. I recognized right away a Ganyogeha name from the accent mark and the colon in the middle, which lengthens the sound before it. Here's a video of the speaker saying, "Good luck" in Ganyogeha, unless he was pulling my leg. I was pretty much glued to my table on Saturday. A lot of people didn't know what Mercy was, so I had to give them the spiel. That is a choose-your-own-adventure story game fan sequel to Transformers Prime. It was beautiful how their faces lit up in the same way every time I said, "You play as Predaking and can decide whether or not to kill Starscream." Oh, the joy in people's faces to have such power. The Sunder concept art was the most popular print, followed by the Overlord concept art. The most popular keychain was the Tarn one. Those Mynametia bad guys are still very trendy. My partner and I got to learn what sold and what didn't, so note to self, more of the mercified Mynametia villains. Overall, we had a fun and successful time, managing to get traffic into the artist alley room despite my previous fears. I certainly preached the mercy gospel to a lot of new people. By Sunday, my partner realized we could literally be playing a mercy video on our table, so they placed a tablet and looped the Freud therapy video. Oh my god, he's eating Starscream in the public space. It's too bad we didn't think of this on Saturday because things got a lot quieter on Sunday. That gave me more time to wander around the convention though. But when I didn't have time to wander on Saturday, someone in a Tarn mask helped get me the latest hot motor oil for my partner's collection. Alex Milne's line was so long. Not only does he sell the volumes, but he draws you a head sketch of a character of your choice in the cover. I looked at the line in horror, but then there was the Tarn mask person. It started with that Tarn mask person recognizing me at my table and being supportive of Mercy. In fact, they were so nervous about meeting me that they were shaking. I jump-scared that poor person in Alex Milne's line when I asked how long they had been waiting. They were halfway through, but said they had been waiting already for an hour. As a vendor, I just did not have that time to be away from the table. So I asked if they could buy me a book if I gave them money. They agreed, but really I wanted to compensate for that time. I came back with a bag of plushies to let them pick any and also pick from the bumble-puppy stickers. I kept feeling bad, so I came back to ask if they needed a drink. Every time I returned, I kept jump-scaring them. Tarn mask person, if you are seeing this, I'm sorry for that, and I'm thankful for what you did for me. I wish I could have given you more because your time is important. And you are important. That's why I came back to tell you, if Alex only lets you get one book, get it for yourself and don't worry about me. You come first. Now, we were able to have 2 books, so Tarn Mask Person did deliver the book to our table. My partner and I snooped in the book behind our table and shoved it away every time a guest came by. It had us laughing. We don't really take it seriously. It's funny what Alex comes up with, but of course it would be bad form for me to show what Alex is selling, so I'll hilariously describe just some of the pages of Volume 4. The first one was Elita sitting on top of Optimus in Trek form, which didn't look so inappropriate, but when you think, Elita riding Optimus, then you see. Another was Tarn, and a female Tarn about the crackdown on Starscream dominatrix style. Many pics had characters posing and background characters drooling. One had Devastator with a censored part between his legs, and Starscream exclaiming, "This is why they don't have 7 members." And with hot motor oil, it has made me realize that when you put clothes on robots, it is so much worse than when they don't have clothes on. Shockwave was wearing a male bikini like a banana hammock with the word logical over his crotch. There was also Kaon electrocuting bots, and electrocuting one squeezed between his thighs. And best of all was just the back cover where Starscream had the phrase, "Star Sexy," on his wing. It was so silly that I just want to keep quoting it. Now what else happened on Saturday? I got to see Andrew Griffith again, a great artist maybe underappreciated. He was at my first TFcon in 2021, which was really dead because of COVID. That was that magical time where he and Alex Milne were just sitting there, without lines, and I got to claim them all to myself for 2 days, claiming commission after commission. Now, when I see Griffith, he knows me as the weird one who commissioned Overlord, and Sunder eating a spine. Well, once I asked for a trepan, but he finished it after the con. I got the digital scan and that was that, but finally, after 2 years, I said hi, and he said he actually brought the trepan com for me, hoping I would be here. That was so nice of him. At that time, I also went up to the voice actor of Nightshade. They had a pride flag over their table and a bunch of Nightshade figures. I come up and said, I only have one thing to ask. That probably made skiel-infinity nervous. Who knows what else they've heard that day. But I said, you know how Nightshade is an owl? Yeah, says Z. I say, how come they don't make owl noises? And Z seems taken aback, said that that was a smart question, and that they would bullshit an answer. That bullshitted answer was that century owls are different and have hawk lore. What a beautiful interaction. Let me rapid fire the last interesting things that happened on Saturday. There was a nice guy with a squirrel puppet who came by the table and engaged with me. The TFcon cat blessed our table with her presence. Every Toronto TFcon I have gone to, this adorable spotted cat on a leash walks through it. I don't touch her, I imagine she's probably overpetted, but she's so cute and exploring with a perpetually confused look on her face. I found out that she is a Bengal, but I didn't get her name. I look forward to seeing this cat every time. Just as I thought, oh, I missed getting her picture, she walked by, and I dropped to the floor to get these. After all was done for Saturday, my partner and I watched the new episodes of Transformers Cyberworld on YouTube. The characters are in a video game, but it was so fast-paced that I could barely breathe. It's probably great for kids. I saw a joke online that it's like Transformers being trapped in Fortnite. I don't think it's going to be for me, but I'm still obligated to watch it as a Transformers fan. So the last day, Sunday, like I said, it got a lot quieter. Foot traffic, a little dead. That's when I started commissioning another artist in the artist alley for Mercy scenes. I could get nice line art, then color it digitally later. Hello, George Mitri. This artist drew me this very cool Predaking flying scene first, but then I asked for a scene of Overlord committing an act of violence against another robot. I let George borrow an Overlord print for reference, and I described the idea of Overlord ripping the arms off a poor bot. The artist had a lot of fun doing this, and at the end he came up to me grinning, with the calm turned against his chest. Then he turned it around and we were all laughing. George, you were awesome. Here's his Instagram. After this, something interesting happened. Miko's voice actor, Tanya Gunadi, I had seen her being very energetic and kind to her fans the day before. Today, the sister of Miko's voice actor came to our table and bought some of our plushies, a peach and a durian. She really wanted that durian as soon as she saw it. Then later, Miko's voice actor did a round through the artist alley and gave a wave and said how her sister got the plushies. Cool, huh? At the end of the con, we went around to the other artists giving out the last of our plushies, to make room in our suitcases. It really cheered people up, and some offered some stickers in return as a trade. The con ended with a rainbow falling over Overlord. It was beautiful since earlier that day, a dad and a kid were looking at the Mercy prints. The kid points up at the Overlord concept art, and the dad is like, I think that's a female version. I lean out and say, no, he's still a guy, just very pretty. Not the craziest Mercy misinterpretation. While the Freud therapy chapter was playing on loop, Starscream's torn and bloody body appeared on screen. A person who was watching it asked, is this a dating sim? Mistaking that Starscream for something romantic? So as you can see, it was all a blast, and none of it would have been possible without my spouse. They did most of the crafting and arranging for our setup. I would not have had the confidence to do this without them. I mainly handled the printing of prints after getting consent from Mercy artists to go 50-50 on profits. It was much more fun being there with my partner, though it was mainly me leaning out to speak the Mercy gospel. They did memorize my parrot-like lines, though. I had warned them beforehand they would hear me say the same things over and over. I managed to buy them the 3rd volume of Hot Motor Oil, missing from their collection. Now, as soon as I bought that, Ultra Primal and her girlfriend were there, so we read that book really quickly in front of Milne. Minutes before TFcon ended, Alex's line was finally gone. Only way I could get that book. The last thing he had was sold out on. I closed that book, raised it, and told him, "That was hilarious." Alex cracks a mischievous grin. He knows exactly what he did. I never made a video for the other Toronto TFcons I went to. But back when Alex Milne was selling Volume 2, James Roberts was right across from him at his own table. James Roberts wrote more than meets the eye. Alex drew it. I asked James, "What do you think of Alex selling sexy art of your characters?" James smirks and says Alex really brought it up to an 11/10 this time. I tell you, both these two are in on this and are greatly amused by the sexy chaos. Anyway, my partner's collection of chaos is now up to date. I can make a video about Hot Motor Oil badly described later. I've actually had a lot of ideas for my channel. I've just been caught up doing Transformersmercy. After the con, meeting real people and getting away from the internet, it gave me so much positive energy. I wanted to befriend everyone there. It makes me want to develop mercy so badly to make something beautiful for them. And I want to be a better person for those looking up to me. Seeing people makes it more real, not just names or numbers on a screen. I hadn't felt so inspired in a long time. I'm drawing, writing, editing, video editing, directing all the art. I got a new job to keep up, but it's still so expensive, and TFcon was more for promotion, not profit, when you consider how much we just spent on the flights and hotels. So I started a GoFundMe page for Transformersmercy. You've stuck with me this far, so you know I'm all about supporting real artists. Mercy commissions Transformers artists, and all donations to Mercy help cover these costs. I would really appreciate it if you looked into the project, its art, written stories, first videos of the game, and maybe considered helping it grow. I hope to even do live streams in the future to help promote the game more and get more donations. Live streams, scary, huh? Let's see if I can summon the courage. See you then.